Welcome to the Transforming Healthcare Coaching Podcast, where we're all about helping healthcare professionals like you create positive change at work, at home, and everywhere in between. So on this episode of the Transforming Healthcare Coaching Podcast, we're going to bring back something that was popular several months ago, which is coaching, meaning you get to see a coaching demo. So last time I coached Klaus, and this time Gillian is going to coach me. So hope you enjoy.
Okay, Lily, it's great to see you today.
It's good to see you too.
Okay, so what would you like to work on in this session today?
I think for me, it's a new year and there's all kinds of new people in our building and leadership. Everyone's in transition. People are learning their job. And still coming out of the pandemic, we are still very sort of semi-hybrid, where we have meetings in person sometimes. We still have partial work days where it's fully virtual. And I do think that's a good thing. And yet at the same time, it's really hard I don't feel connected. There's so many different people in our leadership team, and it's almost impossible actually to get us all together. And I'm just trying to figure out a way that what can we do to bring us to be more connected and unified and clear and having more open ways of making sure that all the information is shared amongst the entire leadership team.
Okay, and why is this important to you?
I think for me, I miss the days of us being a closer, I guess, working relationship because we all used to have offices all in one hallway. And now half of us are never in the office. And I don't think it's because we're in the office. I think it's more just we have proximity to routinely see each other and also do social events to just know each other as people. Those, I'm talking years and years ago. And so I guess maybe I'm making an old fond memory, and I know it doesn't work for our current lifestyle. Like right now, our lifestyle is better suited for this hybrid work environment. I'm just trying to figure out how to get connectivity again in this hybrid work environment.
Yeah, and that's understandable with the kind of work that you do and with the changes that have happened over the last few years, that this is something that you would like to try to make an impact with. And what would you like the outcome of this time we have together today to be?
I guess trying to figure out like what things I can do because I'm part of the leadership team, but I'm not the most senior. And so I can't control everything. I can only provide some suggestions. And I also am sensitive that maybe my suggestions will fall on deaf ears because maybe people really don't, people are fine. Maybe I'm the one who sees this as a problem. So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what to do. So I feel like what I'd like to get out of this session is clarity on what I can do for the coming year.
Okay. And in an ideal world, what would you like it to look like?
And for me, if I were in charge, and basically I would want some kind of quarterly plan that we could all set out together and just name this elephant about there should be a way for us to meet and hear from every person what their ideal state would look like for working together, learning together, growing together. What would be important for this entire division of this particular group I'm in at work? Like what's important to them for this coming year so that we could design it. And it's not just to get the work done. Because right now, it's program administration, it's like scheduling the things, getting the interviews done, getting the program met, meeting with people, but we're all working in parallel in silos to some degree. And it's funny because I feel like we don't, even though we know what our job is, it's not like we have a team cohesiveness yet because especially there's so many more new people that even though we worked alongside each other, it's like in parallel. It's like parallel play versus team play.
Got you. Yeah. And has there been any discussions about this in your unit so far?
Yes and no. I think there's been some acknowledgement. I think people have chosen like private mentorship as maybe like one way of doing things. I don't know that there's really been an expression about team. Like the team is the entity is probably being more important. There was a talk about maybe a retreat, but even then, it's like scheduling, good luck to whoever's going to schedule that. But it takes that much of a priority that if we're going to do it, we probably should have already scheduled it yesterday.
And in order to get to this more cohesive state that you would like, what support might you need from your other leadership team and the people that you report to?
I think I probably need the desire as well from other people. I think suggestions probably from ideas for what we could do. And I think, like, and also self-identification of what is it they wanna get out of it, because it's not clear, like, maybe they just thought they'll figure it out as they go along, and they really don't need any kind of team building or learning together or better relationships. They're just like, "This is cordial enough, this is good enough, I really don't need any more time." And at the same time, I'm sure there's, like, a what's in it for them, what would make it a value add. So I think probably having everyone think through what's the value of being together. People are pretty, I think, protective of their time. So I think we'd have to all be in agreement that we should actually come together at all.
And what could you do to help make this discussion or this suggestion kind of situation happen?
Guess I could point out the fact that we used to have a model many years ago that seemed to work. And even though we may not be able to do that, like it was like a Wednesday night or a Thursday night after work at 5:30, maybe we can't make that time slot work because everyone has other obligations to go home to. Everybody has young families. Maybe we could make a different kind of promise. Would coffee on Tuesdays work or breakfast once a month? Like doing something different, but with the same goal where someone takes a turn and maybe just has a topic or has an issue or something learning opportunity so that we could feel like we're getting something out of it,
Mhm.
but still meet in person and get something valuable from the shared experience, networking, discussion. Because some discussions really just are better when we're all together because the ideas bounce off of each other better and we have different perspectives and it's more time efficient.
Mhm. So I heard you say that in person is really desirable and there's discussions, there's ideas that are coming out of these meetings. What else with the previous model did you find that was helpful um, when you came together?
I think it was basically an opportunity for the it was actually a the opportunity for the prior chief fellows to get mentorship from the entire program directors. So it was multiple senior educators would come together with the fellows, and they would bring up all kinds of problems and just make sure they're getting support. And so it did serve like their mentorship and support, and also just time to be able to be with each other, give informal life, career, just stuff, right? All of those informal kinds of mentorship things, and I think everybody and then in those times, you could nip some things in the bud. "Oh, hey, I had this idea for this. I think we should do this." Talk about you could fix some problems easier too. And then if you couldn't make it, it's no big deal because I think it was every other or every Thursday. I think it was every other. I don't think we met every single week. But that way, if you had to miss, you just text the whole group and you're like, "I can't make it this time." No big deal. But even if 2 or 3 people made it, you know what? They got dinner and they got dinner and a beverage, and it was all good. And they got
Mhm.
to unwind a little bit after work 1 or 2 times a month, and it was a win for everybody.
I can hear the change in your voice when you talk about it. Your energy went up when you started to talk about the meetings that you used to have before. So I can tell
Yeah.
something that you had value out of and
Yeah, because I need to look forward to the end of a long day, and I think the reality is sometimes even because I still remember I remember the year that we stopped doing it, and I remember those chiefs were like, "And we did not get the" because of the pandemic. They're
uh,
like, "And not only did we go through a pandemic, we also did not get the benefit of that great informal mentoring for a whole entire year." So they felt like they double lost that year, and then we never have brought it back.
mhm. So in thinking about this, and again, I hear the energy behind it, what do you think is a good next step for you to either find out what other people's opinions are on this or to get some input from your senior leaders?
Yeah, so I guess it's hard because it's one of those things I don't wanna overstep my bounds. But I guess after in some ways, I'm starting to get older. I'm like, I don't even care if I'm overstepping my bounds anymore. Sometimes I just get annoyed by all of that. But part of me is just like wondering, should we just pull a group and say, if we could find a time, there was a time back in the day where this might be useful. Just float it as an idea. If there's quorum,
Mhm.
then basically there's quorum. We just need to find a time where the majority of people could do it, either lunch and coffee kind of time or breakfast or
Mhm.
after work, maybe once a month to start because people could block off just specially that one day a month
Mhm.
and then see if that works out. That's good enough. And I guess the reality is maybe I don't have to be the most senior person to do it. I just don't want to be perceived like I'm stepping on that person's toes. I don't know whether that person feels that certain things should come from top down. You know what I mean?
What's coming up for you when you think about talking to the senior leader about this?
I don't know how this person will perceive it. And I also think that person is so busy with so many different things that this is a nice to have, not a must have, given
Mhm.
everything else that's going on, because there's so much other restructuring and things like that. Although I guess I wonder if I couch it in that respect that it's imperative that we be ahead of the game, then maybe that person will buy into it. I guess, honestly, I guess there probably isn't anything that's stopping me. It's just that maybe my own mind that's stopping me.
So how might you approach that with them?
I guess I probably would just shoot an email to say, hey, would it be okay if I suggested this at our next meeting? Just so that person's not caught off guard whenever I just blurt it out as an option and see whether or not. I suppose I could also even be even more bold in the email and say, "Hey, would it be okay if I just sent the whole group an email? I offer it as an opportunity, and if people are interested, then come if you want to. Don't come if you don't want to. It's just socializing. You all are invited."
Mhm.
It's socializing slash informal mentoring. I mean, I think the reality is going to be is more probably important for the more junior people, right? So I think there's like a couple more junior people. If they want it, then shouldn't we want to be good colleagues with them? So I think it's probably more important that if I just ask those people, then it's like, irregardless whether nobody else wants it, like somebody should do something for them, right? Because there's 4 or 5 new people and they all are like, "Yeah, we'd be in for this. We want
Mhm.
this." And so the data would show itself rather than asking permission to poll everyone or suggest it. Maybe just go get the data myself.
Mhm. Okay. And how's that feel to you when you think about taking that step?
Yeah, it's funny how just like that just seems to make sense. I am still afraid sometimes about the repercussions. And at the same time, I had another recent episode where I just put it out there. Nothing happened. So I'm still alive, right? I'm still wasn't totally voted off the island yet in terms of going theoretically above like my chain of command, right? To say, like, why don't we do an event? And lots of people came out of the woodwork and said, thanks. I can't do this one, or I definitely don't want to do that particular activity, which is it was rock climbing. I was like, I don't want to do that one. But if we have another activity that's maybe not quite daring, like then they would be totally in for it. So I do think there is a desire for someone to just take the action and do the
Mhm.
organizing, right? So I think it's funny how we do who does the intangible work of the organizing does
Mhm.
matter.
Okay. Do you feel like that meeting is enough, considering the problem that you described when we first started?
I think the other question would be too, I'm not sure from because that's also that's for I think certain people on the team. I do wonder about the other 2 people, 3 people on the team, what they think. Maybe they think everything's fine, maybe not. They're more our staff for the team. I don't know whether they feel more disconnected or they want more, or this
Mm.
is like their perfect degree of engagement. So I think I have to respect the fact that not everybody really wants to become BFFs, like, in your work group, and I think the hardest part to balance is that a lot of people don't want anything more close from your work, yet what we do with our work people is what we spend so much of our time and energy with, that to
Yeah.
me is important, and I know we set these artificial boundaries that we don't want to be with these people or get to know them or have it strengthened, and yet when we do invest in that, it does actually make it better. It's just
Mhm.
that telling you can't tell people this. You can only have lived it. And then the question is, how do you live it and how do you co-create it whenever you're in a hybrid world? Like whenever you don't always, you literally cross in the wind. Like a lot of times now, the people we've hired come on and they leave, and we actually have never met them. I've never met them physically. They
Mhm.
are still like virtual support. The 2 I'm thinking of, I actually have met in person, but it took a while before I met one of them in person, which I think in the end, the trust and the ability to know how everything plays out is harder to establish whenever you're I think when you're all hybrid, it's everyone's equal. When you're somewhat hybrid, then the people who've met in person have a leg up almost, I think, relationship-wise compared to those who are fully so, like, the 2 extremes are fine, fully virtual, fully in person. But then the hybrid, depending on if you're part-time this, which is what we're part-time in between, becomes a little more challenging because you're not always there. So you always don't realize that you do exist. It's just that you're working from home and you're still present in spirit and
Mhm,
energy and typing and all the things, but you're not actually in person. So I think, especially also the camera off is rampant in my
mm,
organization. So it's just someone's voice. You don't even know really what they're doing. And so I think, or what they look like half the time. Like I still remember in another group, like I literally, I don't think I would recognize this person, and I published a paper with him because
mm,
he was a statistician. I had actually never met him in
mm.
person.
Interesting.
Yes, so I think that's the thing. I just wanna and I'm just trying to figure out how do you lead teams or how do you create cohesiveness in that space? And I don't have a correct answer. I don't know what the answer is for that.
Yeah. And so how might you find or be able to bring in everybody's opinion, the virtual, the hybrid, the in-person?
I guess I just have to ask, would people be willing to spend one day in person,
Mm,
one time or one morning or to coordinate and change the schedule? Because right now I think the schedule is like certain people are in certain days and other people are in other certain days. And it's meant just to make sure there's someone there from the office in general in that hallway, but it's not the same people every day, if that makes any sense. And so therefore, it's hard to know who you're going to get. The
mm,
question is, it would take a commitment to say that, okay, once a month, could we all hang out together? That's a paradigm change for everybody. And could people accommodate it? Like looking ahead at their schedule and changes. So like, I don't come in on this day because people already have babysitters arranged. They've already had their partners like work schedule rearranged for a daycare. Everything's been rearranged to do a certain thing. To ask now is a slight change.
mm,
And the question would be is would people be willing or
mm.
not? And then I think the other thing that has to be why. What would be the purpose for coming together?
Okay, so what about the why?
So I guess the question is for the staff, I'd be curious, maybe they feel fully satisfied. Maybe they don't feel like they do need to hang out or do any teamwork. Because then I guess it would be different. If they don't really feel it, then they feel very fulfilled by everything they're doing. There's no issues in the relationship. And at the same time, the reality is, I think if there's going to be some kind of team building, it would be important for them to be there, especially if it's like strategic planning. So I think that's the biggest question is do they perceive it to be any kind of an issue? And is there something that in terms of workflow, could we get everything done in one day? If they were all going to take the time and rearrange everything, it'd be pretty amazing. Oh, you got half a year's work done in one day because you all came together. Because to me, I think that would be a value add to say that that worked. It was painful because I had to go get a special babysitter or I had to get childcare on site or something. I had to do something special just to do, like, the semi-annual everyone together, like, with these type of retreats or strategic planning. But then if we made then the whole entire schedule, huge shifts, got a lot of the content work done, pre-scheduled everything, figured out all the problems, we actually eliminated, like, then probably a third of our meetings. So then I think then I could see that if we did do that, then it would be worth it. But again, I can't speak for someone
Right.
I'm not. It's just I'm hypothesizing.
Yeah, may I share a perspective with you? Yeah, I heard you talk about the social part, and I also heard you talk about the business and the strategic planning. So, how do you feel they can best be approached, bearing in mind these goals that you have to bring people together and feel less disconnected?
I feel like the social does help more, the more routine. That obviously helps more like the faculty group than anything else. And I think the other question would be is everyone would be welcome to it. So staff could come too. That would be totally fine. And in some ways, if they could feel like they could get their work done faster because of coming to it, they should come to it. if we can make decisions faster, I think that would be the thing. As we're talking, like, oh, let's make a decision. Let's just do it right now on the computer. Then that would be best. So it might become evident that whatever like routine socializing and mentoring, fixing problems like informally actually can translate into action. It will be important. If it doesn't, then probably only semi-annually, right? Or annually would it be more important to try to find something that they would feel would be useful. And I do think that everyone's opinion of what would be useful if the goal was more connection, learning, and growth internally and team development. Because I think that's the thing that's missing. We execute what's necessary, right? The reality is we're all cordial, we're all professional, there's no issues, there's trust, we like each other. There's really actually no problems with anybody. Like we're all a good working group.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's just I think it could be even better.
Mhm. But it sounds like you don't really know what people want and what they're willing to make the time for, given that they may have to get a babysitter or rearrange some things.
Right. And it's funny, I think ironic coming from me, because I think if you had asked me this 2 years ago, I would be one of the people who are like, "I don't want to come in. I don't want to engage. I like the virtual, and I don't wanna be part of this." It's funny because but now I feel like I can see how this is degraded over time, and the fact that there are lots of new people means that it's an opportunity to try to rebuild the team in a new way, and I think it's gonna be really important. And I don't know whether anyone's already thought about it, but just anytime there's that many new people, it takes intentional effort to craft that again, rather than if we just all gotten socially sloppy with our time and our boundaries, or we're stronger with our boundaries after the pandemic.
Yeah. So I love the way that you're thinking about bringing people together and making it more intentional with the team at the heart of it. So I think
Right.
that's really great.
Yeah, that's what I think is not quite clear is whether people all see that as the elephant in the room, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
Compared
Yeah.
to we all are doing our job,
Mhm.
but I don't know that if you had to do a team rating right now, I personally would not rate us very high.
So who could help you with this?
I guess I could ask some of the staff to see their perspectives, and like I said, I think probably should ask the junior people, because if the junior people are needing it and wanting it, then I think that will make the senior people be like, "Okay, yeah, I should do it."
Mhm.
It's either that or go directly to the most senior person and basically ask for forgiveness. I think we should do this. Any problem with me just going out there and ask, "Can I help?" Like offering to just help with this. I think the reality is gonna be is if it's a vehement no, then I think then I have a different issue, but I'm hoping that my sense is that I think everyone's just busy doing their own thing. That, like, for people to think intentionally about the whole group is just not on people's radar screen. It's just that everyone's just too busy just doing their requirements, if that makes any sense.
Yep. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Yeah. So given what we've talked about, what do you feel is a good next step?
Probably gonna email the people who are most junior and new to the team and see what they think. And then I think from there, like, I probably need to get a sense of, okay, would it be like a lunchtime coffee? Would it be lunch? Would it be breakfast? Or would it be an after work 1 day per month? Like, what would be doable? Just knowing that everyone has really busy lives too.
Yeah. Yeah. And going back to a prior question I had, who might help you make this happen? Because it sounds like there's a few different people involved and you have all the different shifts that you work with, and you have the virtual, the hybrid, and the in-person people.
Yeah. I probably should ask the senior manager of the staff just to see what that person thinks. Yeah. Because that person's been around for a while too. So
Mhm.
that person has seen all of this happen as well.
Mhm.
And we've all changed, right? Like each of us personally has changed over the last 8, 10 years. And so the
Mhm.
question will be is they in some way know all of our quirks. So
Mhm.
that person actually might be the best person to know I'm crazy. This will not happen. Why waste your energy? And so that person can probably give me better guidance, like sweet, but don't do it
Mhm.
versus I do agree with you. And I think if you can figure out a way to make it happen, it probably would be a good thing because that person is probably, yeah, that person has seen us through everything as well.
Mhm. So moving on from there, what might get in the way of this actually happening?
My own personal life, right? Like I also might just get into my zone and just do the things that I need to do and not really then just table that. So out of all the priorities, I have like publishing deadlines. I have other things to do, right? That in the end go, it's not going to be quite as important. Like team health for one aspect of my life is probably compared to other more emergent sort of things like
Mhm.
getting other things done on time.
And how committed do you feel to this project?
Feel pretty committed. I feel like I think I'll have better sense of how easy it is if I can feel like I have other champions. If everyone is probably lukewarm about it, I'm probably gonna let it go.
Yeah.
Because if I reach out to some people via text or email and they're just then it's not gonna sustain. And what's the point of putting in all this energy for something that's not gonna sustain, even though it's the right thing to do? It probably isn't the right timing or the right need.
And that goes back to my question about who can help you with this, because I agree with you. Having other champions working with you on this, because it's change and some people will welcome it, some people might resist it.
Yeah.
Having somebody else on board with you or a couple of people sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. It can't hurt to try. So I guess we'll
Absolutely.
try, we'll see what happens, and then we
Mm-hmm.
go from there.
Yeah. How would you like me to support you going forward with this?
I think the next time we chat, I'll let you know how things go.
Okay.
So it'll be exciting to see. You never know. Better to do something and realize I have some control and agency over it, even though I can whine inside my head or complain or think it could be different. And then of the day, it's like I should just go ahead and run with putting out feelers and seeing. And if I find the right people to, like you said, champion it, then it has a life of its own. All I've done is just put the spark to try to do the right thing. And if it doesn't, then activation energy was not enough. And so be it. I at least can stop worrying about it.
Or possibly maybe the timing's not right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Thank you, everyone, for hopefully you enjoyed that coaching session. So I guess stay tuned, or you can message us privately to find out what happens. Thanks so much for listening to the Transforming Healthcare Coaching podcast. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions about how one-on-one executive coaching works with our leadership and well-being coaching programs here at Transforming Healthcare Coaching. And contact us, follow us, share us with your friends and colleagues, and have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for listening. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe and share with a colleague who would benefit. Together, we can transform healthcare one person at a time. Find us anywhere you find your podcasts. Ready to take your healthcare leadership journey to the next level? Book a discovery call free at transforminghealthcarecoaching.com to explore our personalized coaching packages designed specifically for healthcare professionals like you.